Hello everyone, welcome back to another reaction video. Thank you all to the new subscribers. Thank you all for showing your support by liking the videos, commenting, and sharing the videos as well. So we are definitely back. It was very much needed for me to take this break. I didn't realize how much I had going on until I took this break. And, I definitely wanted to make it a point to come back a day early. I know I told you guys that I was going to be back on Wednesday, but it's been a lot going on, y'all. So the first video, we're going to be talking about Strongmommy Chrissy and this live that she did. She did go live a few times, but there's one in particular I want to cover. Also, as I was working on this video, I saw where Liv literally did a 10-hour live, y'all. Like, this girl stayed on live with 2 children under the age of 3 for 10 hours. That's crazy to me. But we're going to deep dive into that live as well. I'm definitely going to have to break it up in parts because, like I said, that was a long 10-hour live. But I know there's a lot in there, so we are going to comb through that. But for now, let's go ahead and jump into this live that Chrissy did.
On, what was it, Thanksgiving or the night before Thanksgiving, whatever, I don't know, it's all a blur. There was this, I'm having an issue with moderators, and now it's this big whole thing across the whole community, and everybody's in an uproar, and everybody's panties are in a bunch because I decided to wipe all of my moderators. I kept one, and everybody's mad. Everybody mad. Everybody's in uproar. And like I said, because everybody's talking about me and my channel, I think I should come on here and set the fucking record straight. Number one, okay, this is my channel. I don't have to give an explanation on any executive decisions that I make over here because this is my channel. I will also say that I have had the same moderators for the most part for years. I don't normally have to do a sweep of my moderators. It's just, but you know, on the occasion, usually if I have an issue, I might remove that moderator. But I've been fortunate, blessed enough to have some really good girls ladies, women, not to call y'all girls, but really good ladies who have been my mods. This is not a paying position. I'm not taking food out of anybody's mouth or off of anybody's table or out of anybody's household. If I choose to let a moderator go, it should not be personal. This is not personal. You don't have to have moderators on your channel. There's lots of bigger channels than me that don't have any mods at all, or they might only have a couple or whatever. And it's just personal. It's up to your personal liking, whatever you want to do. Okay. But the night that all of this happened, I did not have time. Right? It's Thanksgiving. I'm cooking for my family. I don't have time to figure out whose story matches this person's story, to figure out, oh, what's this? What's going on over here? Okay, I didn't know about this. I don't have time to do that. So I decided in that moment that the thing to do, since I was brought information about someone, I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and just remove everybody. Once I got off my live stream, I removed everybody. I left one. Okay, one person.
So, from my understanding, the issue was one of Strongmommy Chrissy's mods was found to be in a reactor's comment, chat, whatever. And I guess this particular reactor was dragging Chrissy, and it got back to Chrissy that her mod was in this reactor's chat. And that's what created this particular issue. I don't really know all the ins and outs of it, but this is pretty much the gist of what I've been getting. Now, to what Chrissy was saying earlier about her being, able to remove mods if she chooses because this is her channel. I mean, I definitely do agree. I feel that I don't know what the big deal was that she's making mention of. Apparently, there were some videos being made where people were discussing this, and I guess they had issues with it. I don't know if because they themselves were mods. I really don't know what all of the uproar was about. But again, I don't see anything wrong with Chrissy making this move. I mean, it is her channel. She did put in place certain mods to mod her channel. And if she makes a decision to remove those mods, she should be free to do so. I really don't see what the big deal was about that, but apparently it was a big deal.
On both channels. And I have a lot of mods actually on my main channel that aren't even really active. And honestly, you guys, Um, just to be honest, like I have just now gotten back to starting to post. There wasn't even a need for me to have any moderators until recently because I haven't been going live. I haven't even been posting for real, for real. So there's no reason for anybody to be upset. Matter of fact, the last mod that I let go, we got into a back and forth, and she told me, you're not even on live enough for me to even moderate. And touche. Okay, I have nothing to say about that because I'm really not on live like that. Please don't be offended. So the mod that I let go, but I let everybody go. We had a discussion. I feel like we wished each other well, and that was it. There's no bad blood. I don't have anything against Destiny. I always thought she was cool as fuck. Never had a problem with her. She always seemed very supportive over here, and that's what I really cared about. I do want to know though if there are people who are supporting my channel who are supporting negativity against me specifically. I don't really care if you're on somebody else's page and they do what they do with other people. But if you are on this platform and you're moderating for me, I think it goes without being said that, yeah, you probably shouldn't be on the opposite side of that. To me, in my mind, maybe I'm crazy, that just makes perfect sense. And to each his own. I'm not even here to make anybody believe that.
So I noticed Chrissy made mention of a specific moderator. She called her by name, and she did say that she removed all of her mods except one, but she's making more of a mention about this particular mod that she had. And I'm thinking this may have been the one who was in the Reactors channel. And that's why she is, speaking about her specifically. But, to what Chrissy just said, I mean, I agree with that as well. Like, I don't have mods for the simple fact I don't go live. I know some of you have, asked me to go live. I'm still trying to figure that part out, honestly. But, when it comes to mods, I do understand that you do want those people that really do support your channel, they support you. You don't want like an op, modding your channel. And we've definitely seen that happen, over the years. And I don't see anything wrong with what Chrissy is saying. Of course, as a content creator, you want to make sure you have the right people set aside to assist you when you're going live. You want to make sure you're vetting these people. You want to make sure these people are legit. You want to make sure they are who they say they are. And of course, you wouldn't want them to be out here supporting, the foolishness that does go on in this sector. I would feel a certain way too if I saw my mod, in somebody else's chat, just rallying behind the stuff that they're saying about me. Like, that's not cool. A friend of mine, I would say maybe a month or so ago, she had sent me a link that she wanted me to check out, and she gave me the timestamp because it was something that she wanted me to hear. And, I'm checking it out, and I can see, the chats going, and I happen to see somebody in the chat mention my channel name. And they basically was upset about the fact that I wasn't dragging Jasmine the way that she wanted me to. And this person clearly be over on my channel commenting on other videos that I do. And so when I saw that, I was just like, wow, like I could clearly see she was trying to insert my name in the chat to try to start drama, to try to start mess. And I know this goes on. I basically have told y'all I have been in the bushes for a while, just watching and observing before I even came on here. So I know how people move on here. And I think anybody who is either a content creator or a reaction channel would want to make sure that they're moving very, carefully when it comes to dealing with people in this sector, because people are messy. I'm not saying all people are messy, but you do have a lot of people that are messy. And you have to choose, if you're going to have mods, you have to choose them wisely. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
But again, this is my channel. This is my baby. This is something that I grew. So I get to make executive decisions over here. And sometimes people may not like that or whatever, and I feel like the people who were involved, I don't talk to Skye, so I don't really know. And she hasn't reached out to me, so I don't know. I feel like other people, not the people involved, me and Dex, I feel like we messaged each other. We didn't have any beef or anything. And nobody else who was a mod for me who got removed is upset. I think other people are trying to make this something that it's definitely not. We're all adults over here. And I'm not saying it's going to be like this forever, but in the moment, that was just my thought. Like, okay, I need to wipe everybody clean until I can figure out what's going on. And I haven't still had time to really figure out what's going on. I promise you, it's not the end of the world. Like some people are making it. You can mod for whoever you want to mod for. If you mod for me, you could be in whoever's channel. Like, I'm not making you sign a contract in blood saying that I own you and that you can only be over here. But I just feel like if there is an instance where you are a mod for me, let's just have an understanding that you're not going to be on somebody else's channel that has something bad to say about me, because, it just is a conflict of interest.
Here's my thing with what Chrissy just said. Like, to some degree, I definitely do get what she's saying, and I agree with it. When you look at this sector as a whole, you're going to see, people that are subscribed to you, they're going to be subscribed to other channels. That's just a given. Now, where it becomes a very fine line is the fact that everybody reacts differently. Everybody does their reaction videos differently. Everybody does commentary differently. Some people go all the way in when they react to certain people. Some people are biased. Some people are unbiased. Some people may think I am very much biased towards Jasmine. I'm not. I just have a way in how I do react to her. I have many times pointed out things about Jasmine that I felt was wrong, that I had question about, that I had issue with, but it's the way I address it is the difference. I'm not going to just completely drag this woman to filth. Now, I feel that there is a way you can speak on things and it not go so gutter. I've had people tell me I'm too nice to live. I feel that, when it comes to how you react, you can't always just accommodate everybody's taste of what it is they want to hear. Some people are just not going to feel that what you're giving is enough. Some people really want you to go to the gutter. I'm just not a gutter type of individual. Okay? And, I feel that the way I commentate, I can clearly say if this person is doing something wrong, I don't agree with it, or I may actually can agree with something that you said or did. I don't see nothing wrong with that, but some people do. But with that being said, for Chrissy to say, I don't want anybody reacting, I'm not reacting, I don't want anybody modding my channel that is in somebody else's, chat who is saying something negative about me. I feel that's a fine line, Chrissy, because everybody that reacts to you, they're not going to always agree with the stuff that you're doing. And that's our right to. I mean, we all have eyes, we all see things. And, there's going to be some things that I see that I'm not going to subscribe to. I'm not going to agree to it, and I'm going to speak on that. And so for you to say that it can't be where anybody, is somewhere else and that person may say something about you that they don't like, you're going to find pause to that. Now, I get there's a way you can express your disagreements. I agree there is a way you can go about certain things and saying, well, I don't agree with what Chrissy did. Yeah, there is a right and a wrong way in doing that. So to that degree, I can understand your point of view. Of course, I wouldn't want to see anybody supporting another channel that's dragging me to filth. But if somebody is actually contributing constructive criticism, if somebody is just simply sharing how they feel and they're not being messy behind it, they're just really expressing their point of view and their opinion, okay, that's different. All of us are not going to always agree. That's just a given. We're not going to always agree to everything. And, for her to also say that Skye's life was the one who brought the information, I find that very interesting too, because, according to Chrissy, she's really never had any dealings with this woman. So why of all the time, and we know this all went down before Thanksgiving, why of all the time that Chrissy has been on live, true that she's kind of been AWOL for a while, but I'm pretty sure Skye's life has been following this sector. So it's very questionable to me as to why she would make it a point to reach out to Chrissy to tell her that one of her mods was in another reactor's channel and that person was dragging Chrissy. I don't know. I mean, I'm very torn with that because on one side, is it possible that she was just trying to, be a good Samaritan and give Chrissy a heads up? It's possible. But is it more plausible that, she was being messy in doing so and trying to start something? I mean, that's even possible too. And it's kind of looking that way, honestly. But I am trying to look at it from a rounded perspective. I mean, I don't know what her intentions or her motives were, but it is questionable. It's definitely making me raise my eyebrow at it. But this is how all of this got started. It was Skye's life basically telling Chrissy, hey, your mod was in this reactor's channel and they were dragging you. And as a result, this is what transpired.
Y'all listen. I don't have nothing to. I also saw that there's some stuff floating around about Cadence, and I am just choosing not to talk about that because all I'm gonna say is it's been handled, and that's not recent. That's really all I can say about that. She's a teenager. Teenagers do stupid shit all the time. And that's really what it is. I cannot be like some of these other creators that exploit their kids' situations for money. I can't do that. I can sit on here and tell you a whole story time about how that whole thing went down and how she got disciplined and all that other stuff or whatever. And I'm not going to do that to her because she has to live her own life on social media and in general, and I'm not going to embarrass her like that. But that shit did embarrass me, and so for that, she's been in trouble and been on punishment, and that's a whole other thing. I'm a parent of a teenager. I'm not going to sit up here and go back and forth, okay, and act like I'm an angel. But it really does piss me off when people sit up here and throw me under the bus and throw my daughter under the bus because you see some stupid shit that she posted online. I appreciate you trying to blow the whistle. Already been taken care of. That's old news from months ago. But at the same time, trying to call me a hoe and then call her a hoe or something like that because I have 9 kids, that's stupid. When there's people on this platform who go viral off of exploiting their kids all the time. And they've done way worse than Cadence. Way worse than a TikTok, okay? So I don't appreciate that shit. I don't appreciate, but nobody called them a bad mom. Nobody called them a hoe. Nobody called them nothing, right? I don't appreciate that shit at all. I'm just gonna keep it real. I don't like it. So keep my daughter out y'all's chats and out of y'all's comments because it really don't even matter because what happens over here in this household is just that. What happens over here in this household. Whether you think I'm a horrible person or not, and my kids are gonna be horrible people because I'm a horrible person, that's a personal opinion, okay? And you are entitled to have that. But I don't like seeing that online because, raising kids is not easy. Raising teenagers is even harder. And I'm not here to act like anybody is an angel or anything like that. But at the same time, she's a minor. She's a child. She's my child. You let me deal with that. Okay?
Here's my issue with this. And, what I'm about to say, I'm trying to very much tread very lightly because this is involving a 16-year-old child. She is a child, she is a minor, and I'm gonna try my hardest to tread lightly, but at the same time, I have to say this. First off, Chrissy, you cannot come on here and just try to gloss over this and make it seem like, oh, she's just a child. She is a child, but you're not taking into consideration the things that your child is doing on the internet. It's not like somebody came into your real life and they are following your daughter around and they are taking back the stuff that they're seeing her do in her real life behind the internet and they're bringing it to the internet to talk about it. That's not what we're dealing with right here. We're dealing with your child that's going on the internet for the whole world to see and observe and just listen to the things that she's doing and saying on this internet. And when it is brought on the internet, you cannot expect people to turn a blind eye to it and pretend they're not seeing and hearing what they're seeing and hearing. And you cannot keep trying to normalize the fact that what your daughter is doing is normal for any 16-year-old to do. No, this is not normal. It is not normal for a 16-year-old child to come on this internet and say the things that she has said. She has willingly shared certain things that no 16-year-old should even be aware of. They shouldn't be participating in. They shouldn't have these thoughts. They should not be doing these things at all. And I feel what you're doing, is you're trying to normalize this as, well, this is typical 16-year-old behavior. No, it's not. No, it is not. Because I was once 16. I didn't do any of the stuff that your daughter's doing. I've been around 16-year-olds. Didn't see that. That was not normal. And I feel like you're just trying to gloss over it because you don't want to acknowledge the fact that you are dealing with something serious on your hands. Now, you also said that people are labeling your 16-year-old daughter as a hoe because you are a mother to 9 children. I don't think that's what's going on here. I think the reason why people are saying what they're saying about your daughter, it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you have 9 children. I think it mostly has to do with the behavior that your daughter has been displaying on the internet. Like, have you really forgotten all the things that your daughter has been saying and doing on the internet? Again, it's not like people are, knowing you and your children in real life, and they're bringing personal information to the internet to talk about. That's the way you're trying to make it seem like. No, this is your daughter's doing. Nobody would have known any of this stuff had your daughter not came on the internet and shared this stuff for the whole world to see and have an opinion on.
Now, talking about me and calling me names, y'all gonna do that, whatever, that regardless, that's fine. But yeah, that's that. What I find to be also kind of disturbing is that there's a whole bunch of grown-ass women following a teenager. Now, like I said, I could get into the whole ins and outs of Cadence is in this house all the fucking time. So I also got on her ass about the whole fucking TikTok shit because Cadence likes to post shit that she thinks is gonna go viral. She doesn't, the thought process is just not there. And I told her, you need to start to understand that not only is social media forever, but I'm on social media as well. You have a reputation to uphold. I have a reputation to uphold. You are not the image that you are trying to portray that you are. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like that, because then you have people thinking that you are this fast ass little girl that's out here ripping and running the streets with no monitor or something like that. And that's not true. Cadence is never out of my motherfucking sight unless I know exactly where she's at. And she's rarely able to go any fucking where. So, yeah, she likes to go viral. All teenage kids do. And, as far as everything else, that's my business and not y'all's. But I'm just saying, like, I'm a mom raising a teenage girl. I'm gonna have 3 other teenage girls. I got a preteen. I got 2 11-year-olds. I got 5 boys. I'm gonna have situations pop up where I'm like, bring it back. You knew better. Okay? And that's just what it is. I'm not apologizing for being a mom. I'm not apologizing for being human. I'm not apologizing for having a kid to do some dumbass shit to try to just be dumb. Like, why? Don't be stupid. Okay? But
now, I don't know who Chrissy is referring to as far as saying that, she feels it's weird for older women to be following her 16-year-old daughter. I mean, personally, I do think that's weird. I don't have any reasonings to want to follow a child on social media, but I'm assuming because it's Chrissy's daughter and they're looking to get some type of insight, some type of inside information, I'm sure that's probably why they're doing it. But again, it's like Chrissy is choosing to gloss over the fact that it's your daughter. True that you may not feel comfortable with who's following your daughter, but it's your 16-year-old daughter who is a minor who you have every right to say you cannot have a social media. I don't understand as a mother why you have not set certain boundaries in place in your home. Just because there is social media does not mean your children need to participate in social media. Just because you are a content creator does not mean you should just open the door for your children to have access to social media. Now, in my personal opinion, I don't think children should be on social media. They should not have accounts. I don't feel that's appropriate because there are a lot of predators on these social media platforms. It's too much negative influences and influencers that are on these social media platforms that are going to negatively shape and mold your children's mind into becoming young women, young men that you do not want them to become. social media is just not a healthy place for children to be. It's just not, and that is my personal opinion. I don't believe children should be subjected to this world because it is a very toxic world. You can find some decent content on social media, but it's not a lot. It is not a lot. And children are so impressionable. Their minds are still being shaped all the way up until 25 is when their brain will be completely developed. So just imagine you're allowing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year olds, teenagers on these platforms, and they're taking all of this stuff in. It is too much. It is too much. But Chrissy, you making it seem like this is my business and this is not y'all's business. I mean, the truth of the matter is, when your daughter came on the internet multiple times saying the very disturbing things she has said, it became our business. It would have remained your business had all of this remained in your household. Had your daughter felt comfortable enough to come and talk to you, I don't know why she felt more comfortable going on a social media platform and spilling her deepest, darkest secrets. I don't know why she felt more comfortable sharing it to the internet versus coming and talking to you, who is just a few steps away. I don't understand that, and I think you need to come to terms with that as well. But the moment your daughter came on this social media and shared the stuff that she shared on the internet, it became our business, Chrissy.
I have to sit up here and I have to deal with that because it's my daughter. Okay, that's it. But as far as the whole mom thing, y'all don't take it to heart. Don't take it to heart. It's really not. It's not the end of the world. It may not, like I said, it may not be like this forever. It's just like that for right now. That's just what it is. And her mom is known, so they're gonna always look for something to come for. Yeah, and that's what I told her too. Like, you have to. We had to have a whole conversation about it. Like, your mom is known. I have a large following. There are a lot of hating ass bitches, and Cadence is still trying to find herself. Like, I really wish, like, thank God there wasn't social media when I was 16 like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank God that, there wasn't all of this to the extent that it is when I was fucking 16. But, so I'm trying to navigate social media because Cadence is her own person and she still has to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes as well. Don't listen. What I really hate about social media and this platform, people look at me, these bitches that just want to sit there and talk shit about me, and they want to condemn my kids automatically because they put me in a box and say I'm a whore. Okay, fine. Okay, you want to put me in that box? Fine. And then it leaves my kids no room to make mistakes because they are looked under a fine, like a even, bigger microscope. They all know this. So people want to try to sit here and play me like I'm stupid just because I have 9 kids. I'm not dumb. I don't want my kids to make the same mistakes that I have made. I don't want them to have the same struggles that I have had. That does not mean that they will not make mistakes. And so I find it stupid and frustrating. And I tell my kids this too, like my older kids, as they get older, like, you guys understand now. You guys are starting to understand what is not acceptable and what is acceptable, especially when it comes to social media. And that's just either whether you're a content creator like me or not, there should be limitations and expectations set for social media. I have set those, but who did not break rules when we were that age, right? So it's not like, oh my God, Cadence, do whatever the fuck you want to do. You want to run the streets? Go ahead and do what you want to do. You want to be just like me? I wasn't even like that. I'm not even like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, I got 9 kids because I decided to keep my kids. Okay, I had 6 kids before I got married just because I was looking for love in all the wrong places. I was not ripping and running the streets. I was not fucking every Tom, Dick, and Harry. And that's another thing that pisses me off about social media in general, because I have 9 kids, automatically I'm a hoe.
Chrissy, I'm sorry, but what you just said made no sense at all. If okay, you're making it seem like I'm not a hoe because I have 9 kids. And just because I have 9 kids doesn't make me a hoe. It just means that I chose to keep my children. Chrissy, if you have 9 children, let's just start with the 6, because according to you, the last 3 you had when you was married. So let's just start with the first 6. You chose to keep your children, correct? How did you get those children? You had to have had sex with a man in order to get pregnant, correct? So if you had 6 children before you got married, 2 of those children are twins. So that means there were 4 individuals that you laid down with and you were intimate with, and as a result, you became pregnant. Now, true that, you had the choice to either have the child or not have the child, but the same beginning would have been the same. You still would have been with those different men. So, you making it seem like I wasn't out here running the streets, but with the first 6, you slept with 4 different men. And you yourself said that you were having children every 2 years. So, how is it that you're not seeing that the way you was moving was reckless? You're trying to make it seem like it's not a big deal that I wasn't doing these type of things because I chose to keep it. But I mean, we're all adults here. We know how a woman gets pregnant. And the fact that you were getting pregnant every 2 years, what does that say? It's not like you was with the same guy and you was just getting pregnant with that same guy every 2 years. No, you was hooking up with different men and you was getting pregnant by different men every 2 years. I don't understand your thought process is. I don't understand what it is because I know really what you're trying to do is you're trying to justify why you have 9 children and you're trying to take the blame off of yourself as to why your daughter is now moving the way she's moving. Because let's be clear, there's a difference between making a mistake and making a choice. What your daughter has been doing, those are not considered mistakes. She clearly chose to do those things. She chose to put herself in these situations. That's not a mistake. A mistake is when you accidentally do something. You don't accidentally sleep with people. You don't accidentally say, I'm going to do drugs, I'm going to drink, I'm going to skip school. Those are not mistakes. Those are choices. They're bad choices, but they're choices. They're not mistakes. And again, you're trying to normalize her behavior by saying she's a child, she's going to do stupid stuff. Yeah, kids do stupid stuff, but not those type of stupid things. When I was 16, I was still playing with Barbie dolls. I wasn't thinking about sex. I wasn't thinking about doing drugs. I wasn't drinking. I didn't even have the balls to skip school. Again, I'm not understanding. If you're going to come on here and you're going to address things and you're semi trying to be real, why not just be all the way real and own up to what's really going on? If you're choosing to semi talk about this, then really talk about it. Because this is what frustrates people about you. You, as I've said before, you try to pretty things up. You try to dress it in a way where it still some kind of way makes you look to be a certain mother. And I'm not saying you're a bad mother. I wouldn't say you're a bad mother. I just think that you're not being the type of mother that you need to be, especially with you having so many children. There should be more boundaries you put in place. It should not have been where your daughter has had any room to do the things that she has done. You say that you're strict on her. She don't get to do anything. She's not going all these different places. She's not running the streets. Well, explain how it is that she's been able to do the things that she said out of her own mouth she does. And with you having so many children, Chrissy, let's be real. It's going to be more harder for you to keep eyes on all of them, especially as they get into their teenage years. The boundaries should have started from a very young age, and you had no boundaries really set for your children.
Automatically I'm a hoe. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's not fair, but it is what it is. I made my bed, I lay in it, I do not complain about it. But I'm just saying, you guys, I know where I fucked up. It took me a while, right? And I'm also trying to make sure that my kids do not follow that. And I have to have those hard conversations, especially with Cadence, because she's a couple of years out from being a legal adult, and say, listen, these are my mistakes. I have already bared my mistakes to my kids inside of my house behind closed doors. I don't have to tell you guys that for you guys to be like, oh, good job. Good job. You told your kids that you're a whore, so you don't want to be a whore like your mom. No, You know what I'm saying? I don't have to share that with you guys, but here I am telling you that I have to have those difficult conversations and be real with them and be like, Cadence, I had you at 18, babe. Not because I was fucking everybody, because I wasn't, right? Because I thought I knew, but I didn't know better. Be better than me.
I think people are still trying to decide if you really have learned from your past choices. Because we clearly saw you engaged to another man not too long ago where there was domestic violence going on. And now you're in another situation where you're saying you're married. We have definitely seen you move very quickly from relationship to relationship, from men to men, just since you've been on this social media platform. That's just what we have seen on camera. I don't know what your children have seen off camera. And you're making it seem like I have learned from my mistakes and I'm trying to make it to where my children don't make the same mistakes. But do you not realize that the way you've been moving, your children have been watching that? Especially your oldest daughter. She has seen all the different men come in and out, and you're surprised that your daughter is moving the way she's moving. And let me just be clear with the difference between a choice and a mistake. A choice is a deliberate decision made with awareness of the options, while a mistake is an action taken without full awareness or intention, often resulting in a negative outcome. A choice is something you actively select, while a mistake is something that happens unintentionally due to a lack of knowledge or poor judgment. So, although your daughter may have had poor judgment, she was very much aware of the decisions that she chose to make. She was very much aware, even with her coming on the internet multiple times, indulging her deepest, darkest secrets for the world to hear. She was very much aware. She may not have fully been able to foresee the outcome of her making that choice, but it was still her choice to do so. Nobody forced her to go on live and share the things she shared. It wasn't like she accidentally pressed the live button and she just accidentally started talking. And just like with the choices that you made that led you to having 9 children, Chrissy, you cannot come on here and call them mistakes. Because even the choices that you made, those were not mistakes. They were your choices. You deliberately made the decision to choose to lay down with these men. You may not have been able to foresee how hard of a struggle it was going to be for you in doing that and having their children, but you knew what you were doing when you did it. So it doesn't give you the right to now say at 34 years old, I made mistakes. No, those were not mistakes. You made choices. They were poor choices, but you made those choices.
Not, and again, before a bitch take this shit and run with it, Cadence is not out of control. Okay? There have been some other people that I have heard of who have had out of control teenagers. That is not Cadence, right? Has she fucked up and done some stupid dumbass shit? Abso-fucking-lutely. She's 16. She gonna do some more dumbass shit before we done. Okay? But on the grand scheme of things, compared to other teenagers her age that I know of personally and that I just heard of on social media, I'm thanking my lucky stars that it's just a stupid ass social media post. Okay? She ain't trying to sneak out. She not trying to run away. She not getting into fights. She not stealing and doing all that other dumb shit. It could be worse. She not doing drugs. She not running around here getting drunk. It's not, it could be way worse. Okay? Now, is she trying to act a little spicy? Yeah, she is. Because she think that's what's going to get her likes and views. Right? And so we had to have a whole conversation about that. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. But she's a kid, y'all. She's a teenager in a world with social media. Not to make excuses for it, because she already knew better. Listen, she got in trouble. I ain't gonna tell you how, but there was definitely some cuss words dropped because I was upset about it. Pissed me clean the fuck off. But we live and we learn. Okay, we live and we learn, and that is what it's talking. I mean, I know I didn't know y'all had angels for 16-year-olds. I didn't know that. I did not know that y'all all had angels for six. I did not know everybody. I did not know that. I didn't know my daughter was the only one that just fucks up sometimes. I didn't know. My bad. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway.
When it comes to a child being out of control, there are different levels to that. I wouldn't say she is on the high spectrum of out of control, but she definitely does display out of control behaviors. Your daughter is 16. She has came on the internet, Chrissy, and said that she wanted to harm herself. Your daughter has come on the internet, Chrissy, and said that she's been drinking and doing drugs. Your daughter has come on the internet and said that she was having sexual relationships. She said she was skipping school. This is what your daughter said. Now, to me, that is considered disruptive behaviors. That is considered being out of control, Chrissy. Now, I know who you're referring to when you say that there is other children on this platform whose mother is a content creator. I know who you're referring to, but I don't think it's healthy for you to be trying to compare your daughter with other people's daughters to try to determine in your mind whether or not your child is actually distributing out of control behaviors. It may not be as bad, but it's still bad, Chrissy. And it's like not only are you lying to the people, but you're lying to yourself. Because you're trying to justify in your mind by saying, oh, well, it was just a stupid post. No, it wasn't just a post, Chrissy, that your daughter has come on here and made. There were multiple videos she did. There were things she said. And I know she was saying what was true. There was real emotion behind what she was expressing in those videos, Chrissy. Do you not remember you trying to come on the internet with her? And that made me feel uncomfortable. The way you was trying to clean that up because of what she had said. But you came on here with her and you tried to kind of put her in the camera and tried to get her to kind of take back some of the stuff she was saying. Trying to make her change it up so it didn't look a certain way. Because you was embarrassed. You was embarrassed by the fact that your daughter didn't feel safe enough, comfortable enough to come and talk to you, being her mother. And instead, she really just broke down for everybody to see because this is what she was carrying on the inside of her and she didn't have an outlet. She didn't find safety in you to express what was really going on within her. That is a problem. That is your reality. That is the truth that you need to deal with instead of coming on here and trying to make it look to be something else when we know that's not what it is. If you really want to get to the bottom of what is going on with your daughter, if you really want to fix the issue, then you got to be honest. Now, you may have had some real hard conversations with her. But you locking her up in a house to prevent her from doing certain things, that's not going to fix the issue. But you're not going to fix it by coming on here and trying to paint a picture that's really not what it is, Chrissy. It's not the truth. These are your children. And true that, to a certain degree, it is your business. But again, it became our business when this information was brought to the internet by your daughter. And even though, you're saying that you're not trying to make excuses for the things she's done, I feel you are, though. You are making excuses to a certain degree because, in order for you to really be honest with what it is, that means that you will have to look at yourself too and be honest about that as well. And I don't think cussing at a child is appropriate. I don't care how angry, how frustrated you are. That's not like saying, or it kind of felt like you saying, I cussed her out, was a way to some kind of way prove that you were very much, annoyed by her actions and it angered you, and you handled her by cussing at her. Like, I don't understand that, because I think that's very detrimental to a child. I don't care how old they are. You don't be cussing no child out. You don't use foul language at a child. I think that is just so harsh to do. I don't care how angry you are. Yeah, you may raise your voice, but it should never be in a way where you're just downright cussing them out or cussing at them. I don't feel that's appropriate. And I definitely don't like how you're trying to make it seem like for anyone to have an opinion means that we all have perfect children. No, nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. There are no perfect mothers. There are no perfect fathers. There are no perfect children. There are no perfect people. Okay? But there are mothers and fathers out here that are raising their children to be very much well behaved young men and young women. We're not going to sit here and make it seem like that's not happening. We're not going to make it seem like parents are not out here doing the work, raising, not tolerating their children, but actually raising their children to be well behaved, well mannered, successful children that grows up to become well mannered, well behaved, successful young adults and adults in general. It is very much possible. It happens all the time. So we're not going to sit here and try to make it seem like it's normal for people to have out of control children. No, that's not normal. It happens, but it happens because of the parent that's raising them. You don't get to remove yourself out of the equation and just be scratching your head trying to figure out, why is my child like this? No, it's a reflection of what you did and what you didn't do. Because children learn. Now, in some instances, yeah, children can be raised in a really good environment and grow up to be the total opposite. That can happen too. But if we're going to look at it from the perspective of the fact that you have a 16-year-old that has clearly seen you move in the ways that the whole internet has seen you move, not speculating, I'm going off of what we have seen. It makes sense why your daughter is displaying the type of behavior she is now.
I don't make excuses for it, but I don't want to try and fucking put her on blast either in front of 200,000 people and be like, da 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 da, which is why I never mentioned it. Which is why if I ain't mentioned it, why the fuck are you? Duh, stupid. Like, let's not. Clearly, I'm not trying to mention that because I don't want to make her feel like that's the end of the world. I don't know. Mistakes happen, right? Kids fuck up. You learn from your mistake, you move the fuck on. I fucked up a lot in my life, and my goal is to make sure that they don't fuck up the way I fucked up, and they fuck up a lot less, right? But at the end of the day, she has to have room to grow. And so I'm trying to give that type of leniency as far as like, okay, this is a mistake. We learn, right? We see, and I show her what is the repercussions, not only for her, but for me and others, and how what she does affects other people around her. So that's a whole lesson that has been learned. And she's going through some things right now because of she's on fucking punishment and has been for a while. It might be until she graduates. I don't fucking know. Depends on her maturity level. But I say all that to say, you guys, we're human over here. We make mistakes over here. I'm an adult. I'm 34 years old. I still make mistakes. I'm still learning from life. My daughter is still going to learn. My sons, all my sons are going to learn. Everybody's going to be, it's a learning curve. Okay. Don't expect perfection from over here. Some stupid shit sometimes happens. And I'm like, okay, let's take it back. Let's bring it back. Why did you think that was okay to do?
Like I said before, you have brought her on camera and you have put her in a position, a very awkward position, because I felt awkward watching, where you was wanting her to speak on that particular video where she did express a lot of things in there that were very disturbing. You did put her on blast in that situation. And you are semi still putting her on blast, even now. I just feel like for you to try to dress this whole situation up and make it seem like it's not that big of a deal, that just really concerns me. It concerns me as a person, it concerns me as a mother. Because obviously there's something going on that is really making her feel like this is the choices that she needs to make. And this also further proves why children, even teenagers, do not need to be on social media. It's too much going on. It's too much social pressure. Because, high school enough is pressure alone. It's a lot of social anxiety. It's trying to fit in. It's trying to not, be influenced in a way just because you're trying to fit in. It's a lot of pressure within itself, on top of the fact that you're on social media. That's just too much. Even a 16-year-old should still feel like a child. They should still feel comfortable being a child and not feel as if they have to grow up so fast. Because that's what social media does. It grows children up too fast, and it introduces things to children that are too far advanced for their minds to comprehend. It's too many things that are being used on social media in general that is sexualizing our children at a very young age. It's just not an appropriate place for children to be of any age.
Now, and let me also remind y'all, Cadence is an AB student. Okay? She's an AB student. This is not, don't let social media fool you into thinking that she's some delinquent or some shit. Cadence is an AB student. She's looking to get into really good colleges, and I think that she's gonna have a really good chance. I'm planning for her future. All this dumb shit, that's gonna happen. That dumb shit, that's gonna happen. I'm gonna be like, get it together. We're gonna get it together. We're gonna clean it up. We're gonna keep it pushing, because I'm thinking to the future. Okay, so yeah, that's really what we're doing. Today, we spent a lot of time filling out scholarships, applications for scholarships. They have a lot of applications for juniors for scholarships. And I think that she's going to be able to get some good amounts of money to be able to set her up really nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are planning for other things. There's a lot of positive things going on in her life. I'm not going to get on here and talk about some stupid fucking social media post as if that defines my daughter. Y'all can sit up here and try to condemn a 16-year-old like that's going to be the end of her, and that's her because it's me, and she's not me. She's her own person. And I'm here like, you're not going to be like me, even though I'm not the worst person in the fucking world. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing nothing wrong. I ain't do nothing wrong. Just don't have no kids. You know what I'm saying? Leave these niggas alone. These niggas going to be there. Niggas going to nig, they going to be there. Have fun. Enjoy your life. Focus on your career. Those are the things that I didn't do that I wanted to do. But I'm not a bad person. So I'm not like, oh my God, just don't be like me. Oh my God. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, if you want to have kids one day, have a family one day, okay, do that one day. You know? But yeah.
And see, this is what I was saying. You saying I didn't do anything wrong is not being realistic here, because all of the things that you have done wrong, you're starting to see the ramifications of it through what you're dealing with your oldest daughter now. You cannot cop out and say, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not a bad mother. I chose to be here. I chose to have them. That should be enough. But your choices, Chrissy, the choices you've made, all the things that your children have watched you as a mother make year after year after year, it does affect them. The amount of times that they have seen men come and go, that affects them. The amount of times that you have caused your children to have to move from state to state, city to city. They're starting new schools left and right. They're trying to make new friends, and then they got to leave those friends, and then they got to move and try to make new friends, and then they got to leave those friends. Like, them not having stability in their life, it is affecting them. And just because they may not know how to verbalize that to you doesn't mean that it's not affecting them. Like, you cannot be this clueless, Chrissy, in thinking that you're not doing anything wrong. Kids watch from a very young age. They're watching you when they are a newborn. They're watching you at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, all the way up. They're watching you. They're learning just by watching. And it doesn't matter how many sit down conversations you have. Yeah, that helps. That's a start. But if they see you doing certain things, it's going to bring confusion. Because they see you doing one thing, but you're telling them something else. Children learn quicker by what they see, not by what they hear. They're watching. And you cannot keep turning a blind eye to the actions that you're making around them. Because they are watching. And like you said, you have 2 more teenage girls that you got to worry about. Actually, you got 3 more. Like, this is not something that you need to be taken lightly. And just to be clear, I'm not condemning Cadence. I'm not condemning her at all. I believe she can turn all this around with the proper guidance, with the proper help that she needs. But she can definitely turn this around. She can successfully graduate high school. She can successfully go to college and get her degree and become a professional young woman and make choices that do not mirror the choices you made. That's what I want for her. I want that for her. I want that for all of your children. But what I'm saying to you, Chrissy, is you have to stop trying to mask the things that you are contributing when it comes to how your children are becoming older and the choices that they are making individually. You cannot keep coming on here masking the things that you have done and are doing that is affecting their choices. If you're really going to come on here and be real, be real. Be honest.
Listen, you guys, and again, I'm not going to sit up here and dive in deep, but we've had to have some tough conversations. You know what I'm saying? About just what it is to be a mother, what it is to be a mom of 9 kids. You know what I'm saying? How she feels about me as a woman, as a mother. How does she feel about how social media perceives me to be? You know what I'm saying? We've had to have some tough conversations. Some tears were fucking shed. We've had to strip away everything and get down to the nitty gritty. That's why I stand 10 toes on fuck what y'all talking about. Yeah, okay. But no, because that's my baby y'all talking about. Hell no. We're not going to sit there and do that.
Like I said before, I'm glad that you are starting to have these real hard conversations with her. I'm glad you're opening the door for her to be able to ask you questions. And I hope that you are being honest with her. And I hope that going forward, you will continue to leave that door open in a way where she won't feel as if she has to share so many private, intimate details of her life on social media, because that is not healthy to do. It is not healthy to do that. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, that is your child. You are absolutely correct. But you cannot expect for mothers who are observing this and who are witnessing this not have any type of opinion behind it.
I was like, the other day, I was like, I have been a mom since I was 18. And when I say with passion, I don't want my kids to have to struggle the way I have struggled. My life is not glamorous. It never has been. That's why I don't understand the hate that I receive sometimes from people being like, you know, she doesn't deserve this, she doesn't deserve that, this is that, this is that. Girl, what are you talking about? Has You could go back, all of my videos are still here. Shit has been way worse. Like, I've been through the mud, like all of it. And some of it is I probably say a good half of it is not, it was never even on a channel, on this channel, on video. So it's like, I've been a mom since I was 18. I've been changing diapers since I was 18. All decisions I made, nobody forced me to do that. But when you're that young, you don't know what you're giving up. You might be like, you might think that you are prepared for what you're getting yourself into, even though 9 times out of 10 you're not prepared, but you can't even fathom what you're giving up. And that is the thing about life, is that you have to be perceptive of enough to understand what you're giving up in order to be a mother. And I don't think I understood that. And I think a lot of people don't. A lot of young women don't. And so, yeah, that's definitely conversations I have with my kids.
So you basically further proved my point that you didn't make mistakes. You made choices. Just like you clearly just said, these were all your decisions. Nobody forced you, right? That's clearly a choice that you made multiple times. So you said earlier these were mistakes. You made mistakes. No, these were choices. So I'm glad you said this, because you're just confirming what I was saying before. There is a difference between making a choice and making a mistake. Okay? Now, for you to also say that there was a lot that you went through, you said you was in the mud and a lot of it wasn't even shown on camera, on your channel. It just again further proves the point that I made when I said that your children have witnessed a lot of things behind the camera. So you cannot be just, like I said, scratching your head trying to figure out why are your children doing certain things. It's because of what they have witnessed. They have seen a lot. They've witnessed a lot. And for you to say, I didn't do anything wrong, you can no longer have that argument, Chrissy. Because none of us are perfect parents. But we also should be able to tell our children, you know what, I made a wrong choice here. You know what, I was wrong to make this choice right there.
I had to have a difficult conversation with Kingston today about his dad, because he's 14 and I need him to understand irresponsibility. And I don't want to get on here and drag his father, but like I told his dad today, you need to do better. You need to do better. You don't do enough. And there's no excuse for it. And because Kingston, my thing is like, he's doing basketball. Basketball is his passion. Basketball costs money, honey. And although if he needs it, I'm going to get it. And actually, my husband's been getting everything for him that he needs for basketball. But he has a father who's alive and well, able-bodied and working. And I ain't got no dinero in my motherfucking pocket. And I feel like, it's just unacceptable. So we had a little text conversation, his dad and I, it was a lot of questions of like, he texted me today and was like, hey, what you doing? I'm working. What are you doing? What can I help you with? And he's like, oh, nothing. Are you sure? You ain't got nothing to say? He's like, no, I just was trying to see what you were doing. Nigga, this is not a, hey, how you doing? What's up? We're not friends. And you ain't sent me no money for your sign. Or sent, Kingston has his own Cash App, baby. Got a PayPal and all that. Send it directly to him. But do something, okay? And it just was a whole back and forth. I'll spare y'all the details because y'all already know how I feel about this type of shit. And I don't beef with Kingston's dad. We don't have that type of relationship. But he is just sorry. Because, like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And then he's just like, oh, well, I'm broke right now. And a nigga's favorite line is, I'm broke. I don't want to hear that. Because if I don't have it and he has a need, guess what? I got to get it. And it kills me. Y'all don't get me on here to preaching tonight, but it kills me how men, just some men, not all, some men feel like it is okay to just leave that burden, not burden, whatever, of the task of supporting a child financially all on their own. This is why you pick the right partner. Oh, it took me to my 30s to realize that. No, but seriously, like, life is crazy, y'all. But I had a conversation with Kingston after I had that conversation with his dad, because I want to know how it makes him feel that his dad can't show up. I want to know how it makes him feel, because he has feelings. You know, I know how it makes me feel. I'm mad, right? But he's 14 and he loves basketball, and his dad knows he loves basketball, and his dad is not making him a priority, and that's not okay. So I told Kingston, you know, I asked him, I talked to him, and Kingston's like, you know, he's 14, he's a boy. He's like, I kind of knew, you know, he was going to be like that or say that, because I told him, I was like, well, he needs shoes. I already ordered the shoes. The shoes that Kingston wanted. They'll be here this week. His dad does not know that, though. So I'm like, what's going on? He needs shoes for basketball. And he's like, oh, I'm broke right now. I don't have it. Da, 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 da. So I asked Kingston, like, how do you make you feel? How does that make you feel? And he was like, I knew he was going to say that, which is also pathetic. You should not expect to be let down by your own father. Ridiculous.
I do think it's a good thing that you are inquiring about how, Kingston is feeling in regards to his dad and how his dad is not really playing a major role in his life. Because I know when it comes to boys, they do have a tendency of, bottling a lot of things inside and they hold on to it. And all of your children really need to feel as if they do have that outlet when it comes to you where they can just express themselves freely and not feel fear in talking to you about certain things. But I think it is good that you did check in on him, and I would encourage you to do it on a regular basis. Because Kingston definitely does seem to be very quiet. He's always to himself. That's something I've always noticed with him in the videos that you've shared with your children. But I do think that it's very unfortunate for Kingston to have to be dealing with this. Um, I just think, again, it just goes back to you, Chrissy, because of the choices you made. You didn't really vet these men properly, and you still had children by them, and a lot of the fathers of your children are very much not present, and it's just very sad, because regardless of how much you try to show up in your children's life, there's always still going to be a void that they're going to feel because they don't have the other half, which is their fathers. And I do know that, children can grow up to be very successful adults, not having, either parent or missing one parent, but it still shapes them in a way where they will always say it was always a void they felt not having the other parent around or not having both parents around. It does affect children to a certain degree. And, I just think in that too, you have to own up to the fact that you are partly responsible in your children suffering in this way. I know you can't force the men to be fathers, but again, you are somewhat to blame because you made the choice for them to be fathers to your children.
So when I talk about moms and how we don't get enough credits over here, this is why. Because it's hard being a mother. It's not easy. It's very difficult. But I'm here. I didn't pawn them off on anybody. And I'm trying to put forth some effort to make sure that they don't end up like me. Clock that so that they don't end up like me. I want them to be better than me. I don't want them to struggle like I struggled, y'all. And I don't want them to have any kids, because kids are a blessing at that point in life when you've already lived your life. I fully expect Cadence to live her life, honey. I fully expect her, all of them, to live their lives and to have fun and to grow and to have successful careers, and then get a partner that's going to support them and be there for them through the tough times. Because parenting is tough.
Parenting is very hard. It's extremely hard. You know, when you are a parent, you cannot afford to be selfish. You have to be very much dedicated. You have to be attentive. You have to invest your full self. There's so much time and energy that you put into your children. Um, you have to know how to sacrifice. You know, you just can't half be a parent. You have to show up every single day, even when you're exhausted, even when you're sick, even when you're not in a good space mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You still have to physically and mentally and emotionally be present every single day of your children's life. It requires so much more than just providing a roof over your children's head and making sure they have food to eat and making sure they have clothes. That's doing bare minimum. But when you are truly a mother, when you are truly a father, you have to give of yourself 100% to your children. You are literally raising them. You're raising them. You're instilling into them how to be good people. You're instilling morals and ethics, and you're just being everything to that little human being that will make them to be good human beings as they get older. It's a lot to it. But at the end of the day, I do not feel or believe that Chrissy is a horrible mother. I wouldn't say that. I just think there are things that she really needs to correct quickly. And there are a lot of areas where I believe she can do much, much better. She needs to do better when it comes to being a mother to her children. Um, can some of the damage be reversed? It can be. It's very possible. Um, but she has to be very much mindful of what she's doing, what she's allowing her children to see, and she cannot be in denial over the things that she is doing in front of her children. Um, but with that being said, you guys, that ends it for this video. I will see you all in the next one. It's One Love, and I'm out.